Hello children, welcome to our world through English. So today we are continuing the same story about one of the engineerings, right? One of the finest engineerings, that is civil engineering. So already we discussed this title about the civil engineer. So the life of a civil. So the civil engineer, we have been started and we are discussing about the civil engineering and what are their roles and what are their responsibilities in the lesson. That is, they literally build the nation. Literally they build the nation. How they are going to build the nation, how they are going to build a beautiful nation, we are already started, and I give an introduction in the previous class, right? What are the responsibility, how the responsibility has been changed of a civil engineer. So firstly, initially the response of civil engineer is just to draw a design and to give it to a sketch to the design, and they have to draw the sketch and they have to give to the contractor. They will go for the construction, everything. But now gradually the roles has been changed, and later first what happened, only the sketch. Later in the sketch they are going for infrastructure, and later they are going to the site, they are going to the project where they are going to construct. They are being with the contractor, and every time they are suggesting what are the changes they have to need. If any mistake happen, immediately these people are with them and rectifying that. So from the beginning of the project until the completion of the project means not a dam, that one project means a task, a work, whatever they have been taken. So everything till the end of the project, they were being with them and they're completing it. So that was the responsibilities they have been taken. So previously, children, the role of a civil engineer just to draw and to leave, but it has been changed and given more infrastructures and more designs. Everything has been changed. So let us start in today's class in the page number 82. I was going to read, let me give here third passage. Civil engineers today are expected to stay with the clients and guide them through the approval and the construction, while offering strategy, advice, and their experience. So we said that is the role of a civil engineer is not being a simple thing to draw and give. The role is now being changed. That is, after sketching, after the drawing of the sketch, then immediately they are going to the government official, and there with them, along with the client, they are going for the approval. After that, processing, and after the production, after the complete till the end of the project, they are moving with the client and supporting and helping them. So now you can understand the role of civil engineer, how it has been changed. So I can say that is the oldest engineering. So without studying, many people construct many things. So that is also a greatest. From the beginning onwards, we have this civil, one of the fine and oldest engineerings. So civil engineers are multi-fated. Multi-fated means different having many phases and branches. Especially many phase means, for example, if you come to school, you have different mode of acting. If you go home, you will be here something. If you go office, you will be here something. So we have a different phases. The same thing here, civil engineers also having different multi-phase, taking on roles and responsibility that are varied. So here they're having different roles and branches. In a civil engineering world, they have another many branches. For example, we are teaching field. So in teaching, we have English, we can teach science, social, Telugu, Hindi, mathematics, psychology, physiology, sociology. We have different subjects. We have different only one teaching. And for example, if you take English, I am teaching English. In English, we have literature. In literature, we have a communication. And then, for example, if you go for literature, we have dramas. In dramas, we have different British drama, American drama, Australian drama. If you go for poetry, British poetry, American poetry, Australian poetry, African poetry. If you go for novels, we have many Indian novels, African novels, Australian novels, American novels, British novels, so Pakistan novels. So we have different novels. So in one branch we have many. For example, if you take a tree, for the trunk we have different branches, and for the branches we have another small. So these are the branches for civil engineering. Civil engineering also having many multi-phased. That was what word, multi-facted, multi-phased roles. They have different roles to do. Even as civil engineer, they have different branches. So what are the branches and what are the responsibility they are taking in the society to build, especially to build the nation, that we are going to read now. So environmental civil engineers. So now we are getting one civil engineer, that is in this only we are getting environmental. So commonly by mistake sometimes somebody will call this as environment. So that is absolutely wrong. We should pronounce the word as environment. Okay, environmental. Okay, environmental is a wrong pronunciation. You should pronounce the word as environment. Okay, environmental civil engineer. So we know that what is environment. What is environment? Nothing but trees, plants, air, human, river. That is all. What is on earth, that is environment. Everything we have to say. So the air, water, fire, human, trees, animals, birds. Everything is environment. So here environmental civil engineers. So what is the role of civil engineer? Commonly we said that what is that? They have to build. Their role is to construction. Their role is to build highways, parks, industries or something, whatever it is. Every construction is their business, is their role of civil engineer. So in that they have environmental civil engineers. So environment means what? To take care of the environment, to save air, to save water, to protect everything. That is environment. So here these are also having one separate branch, that is environmental civil engineers. So what is their role means, let's read here. They focus on all-round development of design and construction skills of working in harmony with nature. So these environmental civil engineers, what they will do, if they construct anything, they will mix up the nature. For example, we can see some buildings, apartments where made with in the floors. They may keep pots, flowers. They made a cultivation on the top terrace. So that is called environmental civil engineering. Means they will move along with the harmony, the peace of the nature. So if they construct anything, they will take care of the nature, which they will see maybe by this construction if anything is going to happen, or the environment is going to damage, or the water is anywhere polluted, or the air is getting anywhere polluted. So these environmental civil engineers, they will go for taking a responsibility to save the environment. They will go for saving the environment. Their role is to protect environment. Their role is to make a peaceful relation with the nature. So that is the role of environmental, develop, design and construction skill of working in harmony with nature. So whatever the design they have made, whatever the building, whatever the construction they had made, that will have a harmony relation. That means a peaceful relation with the nature. The peaceful relation with nature. So that is the specialty of this environmental civil engineering. So whatever they made, they will go for saving the environment. Saving the environment. So that was the role of environmental civil engineers. So next one here we have one more with the focus on environmental issues such as wastewater and sewage disposal. Engineers operate as guardians of nature. So this environmental nature is the environmental civil engineering means what they will do, they will go for searching wherever the water is getting wasted or air is getting polluted, so other disposal things. So they will go as a guardians and of nature. So they will save the nature by to not waste any water. So how the water should be goes on the wastewater, how the other air polluted means how the disposal will goes on. So they will give a good guidance and they will save everything and they will make everything pure and clean, and they will act like a guardians of the nature, act like a guardians of nature. So that is also another responsibility of the civil engineers, the responsibility of civil engineers. Who's the civil engineer? That is environmental civil engineer. So let us talk about another engineers, that is structural engineers are responsible for another. So next one is structural engineers. Structure means what? In science you will get a question, draw the structure of something. Draw the structure of heart, draw the structure of something, you will get draw a diagram of the structure of a human heart. Something means, structure means a design, very simple, a layout. So here structural engineers, second one is structural engineers. What they will do? The structural engineers are responsible for design of buildings offshore of oil platforms, etc. So the structural engineers are for designing of buildings. So they will design the buildings on offshore oil farms, means from the seashore, at a distance from the seashore, they have a oil platform. So for example, especially we can see if you go for any beaches and seashores, there you can find this offshore oil platforms. So there you can get to refined oil, there they can get everything. So we can find them. If you go for beaches, especially if you go for Visakhapatnam, Kakinada, there we can find this offshore oil platforms. So here children, they will, structural building means very simple structure, they for designing, and they for buildings, design of buildings. So they design all the buildings, apartments, all the school designs, all the buildings will be designed by this structural engineers. So another engineers, that is highway engineers. Highway engineers. What these highway engineers are responsible for design of traffic flow planning, roadway geometry design, etc. So now what these highway engineers will do means, they will design the highway. We can see many highways, Mumbai to Pune and Kolkata to Chennai. So we have many highways. In that they will design everything, how the roads should be, and sides of the roads, what they have to plant the trees or any other things, and where to keep the emergency boxes, and the middle toll gates. So they will design everything, that is highway engineers. Along with that, they will design a traffic flow planning and roadways geometry. So what is the design means, they will draw everything and they'll make a traffic flow planning. So how the traffic should go, in which way they will go. For example, when you're listening to any FM, if you go to Hyderabad, there they will go for clearing that. For example, in Amirpur there was total full traffic, you just go from SR Nagar to right side. So they will give some cautions, means how they will know, means the civil engineers already designed something and they will give a clear plan. So there they will come, no, here the traffic zone area, so we can go for. So that is called civil engineers, that is highway engineers. They will go for designing highways, and they are going for traffic flow charts and geometry of highways. Everything will be designed by highway engineers. So that is another engineer. Let us have another role of the structural engineers. Structural engineers are involved in the design of small residential buildings, multi-storied buildings, microwave towers, transmission lines for electricity, and pipelines for water, oil, gas, and supply. These structural engineers. The structural engineer's role is here clearly explained here. Their role is to construct buildings, small residential buildings, small houses, to big apartments, and next microwave means you can see that many in high-tech towers in our Hyderabad. So microwave towers, and next transmission of electricity lines they will design. For example, you can see to Vishaka steel plant, we have a big towers where the electricity was going to pass. So electricity trans lines. And later, one more very important thing about the structural engineers, that is they will draw the pipeline for the gas and water and oil. So they will make a pipelines. So they will design on which way they have to see all the geographical nature. For example, if any muddy land, they won't go for there. If there is any river zone, they won't go there. If there is seashore, they won't go there. So it is very important to draw the pipeline. So that is also role of structural engineers. So This is the role. These are the roles of structural engineer. You should remember everything. For in examination, you may get the questions like this. So, who will construct the residential buildings? Which engineer will construct the residential buildings? We don't say civil engineers. All are civil engineers only. But who? Environmental, structural, or highway. So, like that, you may get questions. So, you should be very, very aware of the questions. Next one. Construction engineers. Another, construction engineers. Construction engineers plan and coordinate construction projects. They may have job titles such as construction and construction superintendent or general superintendent, project engineer, etc. So now we have one more engineer, that is construction engineer. So what is their role means? They will go for constructions. So they will go for the construction engineers plan and coordinate construction project. I said in the first. So they will construct, they will make a design from the structural engineers, they will take that and they will go for completing the construction of the project. From the building ending to starting to ending, they will be there with their own guidelines. They will go for construction. So that is called construction engineers, and they have different roles, titles as construction, we can say contractor, like that. So we have construction, next construction superintendent, next general superintendent, next project engineer, means the person who will be there from the beginning to ending of the project. That is called construction engineer. So they have construction superintendent, constructor, and next project engineer, general superintendent of the project. So they have different titles they may given for, but finally we can call them as constructional engineers. Construction engineers. So construction managers evaluate and determine appropriate construction methods and the most cost-effective plan and schedule. So what is the roles means? I already said, from the beginning of the project to the end of the project, they will be there in the construction site. And what these people will do, they will observe everything clearly. And how much time it will take, when we have to complete this one, how many days it will take, in which time, on what time we have to start the work, when we have to complete. So they will schedule everything. They will calculate the men work and how they are keeping their effort and how many days it will take. So they will go for exact planning of completion of the work, and especially cost effective plan. So they will discuss, okay, one day they are completing half stair. So like that, if they go for how many days it will complete. So like that, they are including the cost, also they are calculating with cost effective plan. So with less cost, with more effort. So that is the idea of construction engineers. So that is their plan and that is evaluation. Next, this may require sophisticated estimating and scheduling techniques. So this is very, very important, because they need a calculation, estimation. I said no, one day they are completing this work. So in 2 days, how many days? 3 days. So if we increase the work, if we increase the men, how many men will come excessively, how much they can do, how much money we can pay excess. So they have to calculate work, they have to calculate men, they have to calculate, and the amount they have to calculate. So with that amount, how many days it will complete. So they have to calculate everything. Construction engineers, they have to calculate. It needs more sophisticated smart worker. So hard work and smart work. Nowadays smart work is very, very needed here. So construction engineers will have a sophisticated mind at the same time with the knowledge and estimation. They need to plan all the scheduling time for the work. And next, construction managers regularly review engineering and architectural drawings and specification to monitor progress and ensure compliance with plans and schedules. So what these people will do, these construction engineers, they have to keep the construction plan in their mind, that design in their mind. So when they are designing, so they have to think exactly or not. If any change occurs, immediately they have to change it. So they have to be in the work, and every time they have to be there, and they have to observe all the changes, whether it is going according to the plan or not. They have to identify under the specification of the drawings, monitor progress and ensure that every plan is exactly implementing or not, the way of designing is exactly implementing or not. So they have to observe every day, they have to be in the construction and they have to identify everything clearly. So that is the role of construction engineers. So they need their effort to be there to complete any project. So that is important of construction engineers. And thus, it would be advisable for students to undergo practical industry experience through internships, cooperative education programs, or work experience in the industry. So, it is also important for the students, maybe IIT students who are maybe previously last year you have been visited some places as an industrial tour. So it is very, very important for a student to go for the tours and to observe how they are working and to look at how the work was going on and to look at how they were working. It needs as a part of internship. Maybe in the school, in our state schools, we are not getting. In international schools, they will have some courses. In their class +2 and +1, they have some internships. So they have to go to some companies. They have to work in degrees, in PGs. You may have this course that is internships. Means they have to go to some other place. If you go for graduation, means BTech or graduation BSc or some other courses, there you have internships. Means 6 months you have to, or 5 months or 6 months you have to work somewhere. You have to work in some other company on basis of your engineering. For example, here civil engineering means they have to work under some other person. So they have to identify, they have to look at all the works, how they are working, which role they are. All the engineering students, they have to go for internships. So they have to see the work. So it is very, very important. That gives them interest. Yeah, this is the work. So theory and along with the practical knowledge. So we are giving a theoretical knowledge now. The practical means you should go for doing. For example, in science, you are going for a lab. For example, Na plus HO2 gives some NaHO2, Na to HO2, like that. You may get some formulas. By theory, you may get. If you go for in the practical doing, by mixing sodium and HCl, you may get NaCl, sodium chloride. So how we have to mix it? Then you will go. That is called practical knowledge. Mean on the board I can write NaCl plus, for example, I write like this. Something I written like this. So how you will feel? Oh, sodium plus hydrochloric acid will give sodium chloride and hydro. You may get. But if you do the same thing in practical, in the lab, then what you will come to know? Oh, this is the real. So that is theoretical. Here I explain. Practical, that is called internship. So what you will do in the lab. So same thing here. The students have to go for tours, industrial tours. They have to observe that. They have to look at the sites. Then they can understand everything clearly. So internships and education programs and experience in the industries, that is needed to create interest on the same courses what they are interested to do. So that is the role of the internships. Next, another key discipline is quantity surveying. Technical skills acquired in areas of estimating, costing and specification, together with good knowledge of various procurement inseparable part routes, tendering procedure and contracting essentials make quantity surveyors an inseparable part of the construction industry. So in the construction industry, what is very, very important means knowledge. Estimation, spontaneity is needed. Estimation is, oh, this time in 1 month we may complete, or 2 months we may complete. Oh, how many workers we need, how many engineers we need, how many contractors we need, how many laborers we need. So they need to calculate everything. So with the calculation of mind, spontaneity, and for example, for every government work they will go for calling tenders. Tenders means nothing but very simple. For example, our school building is there. They are going to construct the school building. They will call for tenders. Means many contractors will go and they will give the plan. So this is the plan. You have to construct. How many days? They will call and they will go for money. So who will bid for lowest amount? Means low cost. For example, normally it will take 10 lakh or 30 lakh to complete a building. So who will code for least code, even 1 rupee variation, they will go for calling for the construction. So same thing here, a contractor or a an engineer should know that about estimation or specification, about contracting, about especially tendering the procedures and everything. They should know. How they will know? By calculating all those things. For constructing a building means they should calculate manpower, money power and everything they have to calculate, and they have to go for tendering. So that also they should know everything clearly. So that is also one of the idea, one of the talent of civil engineers, means they have to be very knowledge in mind, estimation, scheduling the work and how much money will need. On basing of that they will go for tendering that. So maybe in movies we can go for that, he got the tender. In many serials also may get she got the tender, he got the tender. Means nothing but work. For example, if you are going to construct anything, we will quote some amount on the construction. This is our amount. If you give the plan for us, we will construct in this time. If you give that plan for us, we will complete in with this amount. So that is called tendering. So who code for the less amount, they will receive the tender. So like that the procedure will goes on. So let me read. Job opportunities exists in design offices, consulting firms, government departments such as municipalities, environment agencies, as well as with the contracting firms. So civil engineers also having a lot of job opportunities. Most probably for every district, for every mandal, there is one civil engineer. For every mandal, one civil engineer will be there. So maybe for government side we may get less opportunities, but in the private side we have a lot of opportunity for civil engineers, because they need a person to plan, because all the apartments, all the buildings, they won't go for the government person to design. They won't give any procedure. Their role is in that civil government municipality or somewhere, their role is only to verify. That is the civil engineer role in the government office. But we have many civil engineers who will give different plans. For example, if you are constructing any house, a building or an apartment or an office or in any other park, anything, for every construction we need a plan. We need a plan. So that plan will be given by a structural engineer or a civil engineer, finally a civil engineer, and later that will be implemented by the construction engineer. So we need a person to complete the work, and finally for verifying we need a civil engineer. So from the first down to dusk, from the beginning to ending, we need the civil engineer to complete any work. So further we can say that they are literally building the nation. How they are building means everything. If you consider a small thing, that will go to nation. So who will means civil engineer. So that is the role of a civil engineer, who are working a lot for the development of our nation. You can look at many monuments. You have in Hyderabad, Charmin was there, museum, Salajang Museum was there, and later IMAX theaters were there. Many malls, theaters, shopping complexes, or any big apartments, high-tech cities, or big. Everything was done by civil engineers. All the great credit will done by civil engineers. Recently we have been opened a flyover, a bridges. That was made by civil engineer. The plan, a metro project, civil engineers. Everything, every small construction was made by civil engineer, and that too they have a separate roles. They have to protect the environment. So even every design, if they have to go for making a peaceful relation with the nature, whatever the business, whatever the apartment, whatever the project they have been taken, they have to create a clear guidelines to save the environment, even the water wastage or disposal of waste things. So they have a separate plans for everything to complete, make a relation, a happy and harmony relation with nature. So that is the role of engineers. That too a civil engineer. Why they mention especially about civil engineering means nowadays the civil engineers lost its glory on basing of different people giving a bad propaganda. Civil engineers, they have to work in the field, they have to be in the sun, because most people, we want to get relaxation, we want to sit in front of a computer and we have to work. That is, we are feeling that is comfortness, because we will sit inside very happily. But you should remember, you are sitting inside a construction that was made by civil engineers. So that is the great credit goes to civil engineers. So every small, from the beginning, small house, hut to a big multiplex that was made by a civil engineer. So we need civil engineers. So who are interested in the construction, designs, architectures, I will suggest to go for civil engineering, that you can build a lot of buildings with your own creativity and with your designs, that you can make a beautiful monuments for our nation that make you proud to be an Indian, to be a civil engineer. That is the end of the story, how they are going to build the nation with their ideas. So that is the end of the story. Meet you in the next class. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and bye bye.